on, everybody? Welcome back to the Wonbyone Podcast. I'm your host, Obi Megano. And on this show, I sit down with athletes, business owners, other high-level people, and we talk about the habits, the mindsets that keep them grounded during competition, during business, whatever it is. Today, I'm joined here with Sydnie Banks. Sydnie creates these beautiful, as you can see, these beautiful one-of-one hand-stitched bags. She's been featured in New York Times Magazine, UK, as well as where else have we been?
WWD, lots of different things.
Art Basel, you were in Art Basel as well.
So there was an event at Art Basel that
Awesome.
I was featured in. We were on the cover of Bella Media, Bella Around Town Art Basel issue, their first Art Basel issue.
That's crazy. So first off, how did this come about? How did you get started in creating these one-of-one pieces?
Well, honestly,
are they all leather, by the way?
Not all of them.
Okay.
Well, most of them have at least some sort of leather,
Yeah.
or the base or majority of it is, but some I make of all sorts of different things. And so it just depends on which bag you're looking at because none of them are the same. But honestly, I mean, you ask how it all started. I actually started in custom cowboy boots. I was like a girl that didn't really feel like I fit in a school world when I was younger. Like I just felt like people learned differently than I did. I always had friends, but I just felt like when it came to school, it was so hard. It was a struggle. And, but I always wondered what it would be for me. I saw that these other people had strengths and I knew I had strengths. I knew I liked to build things and create things with my hands, which was unusual for like a little girl. But I knew there was something and I just wondered like, what is it? And so I ended up going to school. I was getting an art degree, and while I was there, I stumbled across a YouTube video of this Hungarian man hand making a pair of men's dress shoes. Okay. And I watched video after video after video, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is it. Really? I'm supposed to make shoes. Like, this is what I'm meant to do.
How old are you at this point?
I was 18, I think. And so it was when YouTube was like new too. Yeah. So the videos aren't like 30-second reels. It was like 20-minute videos.
Somebody recording in their like bathroom,
I was
yeah.
watching them all. And so I called my dad, who's a bronze sculptor for a living, but I called him. I said, Dad, I know what I want to do for a living. And he said, well, what is it? I said, I'm going to make shoes. And he said, okay, then do it. And so the next time I was home in between semesters, he pulled out a magazine and he showed me this article about a woman named Lisa Sorrell, who is from Guthrie, Oklahoma, and she was one of the best cowboy boot makers in the world. And I saw how her boots sold for, $5,000 to $10,000 or more, and that they were just like works of art. And he said, I met her at an art show. I think I have her number. We should call her and see if she'll take an apprentice. And so I called her, and she ended up agreeing to take me on. And I moved out to Oklahoma. I'd never been here in my life.
Oh, well, you're not from here.
No. I'm not from here. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's
news to me. Where are you from?
Utah, originally.
You came from Utah?
I came from, actually, Idaho. I was going to school in Idaho. I was born in Utah. I was going to school in Idaho and moved out here to Oklahoma to learn how to make custom cowboy boots. And
as a late teenager.
Yeah, while I was going to school.
Wow.
And so it was crazy because I ended up getting it approved as an internship through the university I was attending. Okay. And so that was awesome because I got like college credit for it. Okay. And anyway, Lisa told me, she said, if you can learn to make a cowboy boot, you'll be able to make anything. It's one of the hardest things in leather work to make. And she was right. It was so hard.
Really?
It was so hard. Yeah, she was rough and tough, and I'm sure she was just like, who is this girl coming in here? Like it was so hard. And my respect for cowboy boot makers is like through the roof because of how challenging it is, especially the way that, she made them.
Could you make a cowboy boot today?
I don't have the machinery to make it today. Okay. If I went to Lisa's shop, because now I live like 15 minutes from her shop, I could go in, and if I went through my notes and followed them very closely, I could do it again. But it's been so long now, and I've gone a different direction with everything that no, I would tell you to go to someone else who is doing it, who's doing it. Yeah, back then I could have, but not now. No.
You said your dad It is or was a bronze sculptor.
Yeah,
What is that?
so he creates art. He sculpts in clay and creates it and then has it cast into
Really?
bronze.
What kind of
And
art? What kind of?
he does a lot of like game like sportsman type stuff, like
Okay.
dogs and hunting
Okay.
and that kind of
Okay.
stuff, but
Okay.
he's done stuff like all over the world.
How
Like
big are
he
we
studies
talking?
some life size, some massive, some small.
Really?
But he was like on the cover of the Wall Street Journal when he was young in his career. And my parents, like they had 6 kids and my mom never worked. And so my dad, like that's kind of
He was
unheard
getting
of
to it. He was.
as an artist, as the breadwinner. Like that's the only thing he did. And so he hustled and he did things in an unconventional way to make it work and make ends meet. And he's still doing it today.
So you grew up in this.
Yeah, well, I grew up in like knowing my dad telling me, you find what you love and you do it and you'll never work a day in your life. That's literally the advice he gave us. Most people are telling their kids to go to school, whatever. He taught
Mm.
us, you do what you love and become the best and you'll be good. So
That's
yeah.
interesting.
So I think most kids, if they called their dad and said, I want to make shoes,
Yeah.
they'd be like, that's not a good idea.
So you think that obviously like played a role in you being an artist growing up, obviously. Do you think that how big of a role did that play? Do you think that if you didn't grow in that household, you wouldn't have taken interest in art?
I
Was
think
there a
it
lot of
probably
art outside of your home
it
for you?
wasn't like I mean,
I'm
it
not
wasn't like we were
artistic at
surrounded by
all.
art, but one thing my dad did do, which I have a lot of, is he collected also vintage items and handmade items. And so I was around leather, I was around different things that he cared about. And,
Mhm.
so I learned about quality, even though all of it was bought secondhand. It wasn't
Mhm.
like we were loaded or anything like that. Like he was buying it at thrift stores or wherever, but he has, these collections. And so being around that, also, seeing that he made a career in what he did, and then also his words of just like, you can do it. And then my mom's support of him in it. I grew up in a situation where I realized like you really can do what you want to do if you want to do it. Like if you're willing to work for it and if you're willing to try and if you love it, you really it's there, it's within reach. And he also taught us, so when he worked at Word Perfect and he hated his life. Like he would come home and tell my mom like, I can't do this. Like I can't do this. This was early in their marriage.
Where was this?
Word Perfect. It's like a computer or something. Like I can't even
Okay.
believe he ever did it. Like he never even turned his computer on the whole time he worked there. So that shows like how out of his realm he was. But he came home one day and told my mom like, I want to be an artist. And she said like, I want to be a sculptor. And she was like, what? She didn't know he was an
How
artist. She
old is
didn't
he at
know.
this point?
Like they had like 4 little kids, but he was still really young. Like he wasn't
Yeah.
even through school yet.
Uh-huh.
And or maybe he was at that point. I don't know. But she was just like, what? But she said, okay, well, you hate what you're doing now. If you want to do it, I'll support you. And so he finished some sculpture and he took it to someone and they basically laughed in his face. I think it was like a fish. And they're just like, you're not going to do this.
Not it.
And he just thought, I'm not going to listen to them. I'm going to go to the top. And then soon enough, he was in Bartsfield Gallery in New York. Like he just decided, which at that time was one of the top galleries, and any other gallery he wanted to get into, he didn't even have to show his work. He would just say, "I'm in Bartfield's," and they would accept it. And so he just didn't settle and worked his way and just didn't mess with mediocre in anything.
It's crazy because as an athlete, that's kind of the advice you hear from your parents as an athlete is like, whatever you want to do, got to work hard at it and you can get to whatever level you want to get to.
Yeah.
And hearing the same thing from an artistic, like I said, I'm probably the least artistic person you know. I can't draw. I can't even color.
Don't
Like,
say that.
I
Don't say that.
I
You're a
can't
creator.
I can't sculpt anything. But just that mentality, how important was that reinforcement from your parents to say, you know what, it's not about school. It's not, obviously those things are still important, but like, if you want to do it, you can do it. And how important was that encouragement for you?
I mean, it was huge. Like, I look at what I'm doing now I mean, what it's all transpired and turned into over the years. And he's still like involved in things. We're still having conversations. We're still mulling over,
Really?
yeah, oh
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
He's
yeah.
still, he's still involved and sometimes it drives me crazy because he'll be like, that looks terrible, like he'll tell me, like, you got to push that in a different direction. It's
Yeah.
not working. And I'll say, whatever, sometimes. And sometimes I listen. It just
Mm-hmm.
depends on the day. But no, it was huge. But what's crazy is even with that influence, all six, or I mean, I say six, there were six kids in our family, but my brother died. He passed away in a waterfall at the age of 16. He drowned on a scouting trip. And so it was like devastating. But all five of the daughters graduated from college. So even with that advice, everyone worked hard and everyone's doing, something creative or, even within their homes or whatever. There's so many ways to create. I think I think that's just like a huge part of life. And if we can create in whatever way it is, it just helps us feel alive.
God. So you're 18, 19, and it's leather and a needle, and you're like, this is what I want to do. You were ready to dive into the career like full on? Did you know the expectations at that level of what it was going to take I mean, obviously now look,
Um,
were
well,
you like,
I'll tell you this. So I was dating my now husband at the time.
okay,
And I knew I was going to be going to Oklahoma to learn this stuff. And I broke up with him 6 times because I thought if I got married or if, I committed to someone, that it would stop me from doing what I wanted to do.
oh, so you were locked in.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There
Locked
was
in.
no, yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
And so, but then he finally said to me, Sydnie, like, well, I'll come to Oklahoma with you.
I'll do it.
I was like, what? Like, really? I couldn't believe that he would be willing to say that. And that turned it. So then we got engaged and got married and moved to Oklahoma. And he worked as a trim carpenter. He was still going to school. Like, we were young. And, and then we had to work from there into our different careers and our different set ways. But it's been a long road.
When you think back, what were some of the times where you thought, man, I just like when you found success? So after you went through the initial pain of getting there and you started finding success, you're making these beautiful leather handbags, these one of ones. When was a time where you were like, man, I just don't know if I can keep doing this?
I don't know if I've necessarily felt that with the bags, but it was almost like prior to that. I'll kind of go into that a little bit. So after making boots, I had an opportunity to go make bags with this amazing designer in Florida, and my husband had a job opportunity in DC, a sales job opportunity. And so we had to decide, what are we going to do? So we prayed about it, we tried to figure it out, and we ended up moving to DC for his work. And from there it was years of working toward his career, not mine. And so, but he did really well in what he was doing, so I was happy to sit back and let him do his thing. And I kept thinking, like, what can I do from home, from our apartments?
So you're at home right now. You're in DC.
So we were in DC.
No leather good. You're just...
No, yeah, I was in DC. I had to figure out what to do. So I was like working as a nanny and, just kind of like hustling. And then we moved like between different internships and jobs and things. We moved all over the country. And I finally became pregnant with my first son. And I started making custom leather baby shoes. I bought a sewing machine on Craigslist for $20. And I started making these custom shoes. And they were called Bijou Browns, which was in memory of my brother who had passed away. I used his baby footprints as the logo. And my brother had these sandals that he wore all the time, and he called them his Browns. Like, he literally had a name for him. He loved them that much.
Where are my Browns at?
And so, yeah, he would hike in them. Like, they were the ugliest things. I mean, they were the worst, but he loved them. Yeah. And so he was buried with them. Like, they meant that much to him. So I had my business called Bijou Browns, and I used his little baby footprints as the logo, and I started making these shoes. Well, 6 months into that pregnancy, they told me the baby was gone, and I had to deliver my son Banks, and it was an absolute nightmare. It was so awful. It was
Stillborn.
terrible. Yeah, he was stillborn. And so I made him some custom bijou browns, and he's buried next to my brother, which is kind of crazy because he had his custom browns and my brother also has his browns. Like, there's so many things that, bring all of this story together. But at his burial, there was a really special experience with birds. And since then, they've kind of been symbolic of my son Banks to my family and I. So like, I went through years of high risk pregnancies, back to back struggle. Like, I was on bed rest for 7 months with one of my daughters. And so I stopped making shoes during that time. Like, it was just a really, really hard time. And I was kind of like hiding out from the world. Like, I had just thought, like, I just kind of hid. And I was still creating, but I just hid. And it wasn't until 2020, I was pregnant with my 4th kid. And I woke up in the middle of the night with the strongest impression: you need to create and you need to share it. And my response was, heck no. Like, I am not doing that. I'm not going to be vulnerable. No, I'm not going to do it. So I didn't follow it. And then 6 months later, I woke up in the middle of the night again. And it was the same impression: you need to create and you need to share it. And I was like, fine, I'll do it. So I started pulling out all my projects. Like, I pulled out my art that I had worked on in the past. I pulled out just anything, and I started just like documenting it and sharing it, not to sell it, just literally because I was doing what I felt like I was told to do. And then one of the things I pulled out was a handbag I had started several years earlier, but I didn't finish it because the top line needed to be hand stitched, and I didn't really know how to hand stitch yet.
Okay.
And so I hand stitched the top line, and it was like that same feeling I got when I watched that YouTube video. It came, and it was like, oh my gosh, this is it. I'm supposed to make bags, but I don't just want to make any bag. I want to make one of one luxury, like, I want to approach it like art. Like, I want them to be completely saddle stitched. Like, I just had this clear vision of what I needed to do. And I thought, okay, if I'm going to do this, I got to do the same thing I did with the boots and go learn from the best in the world. So I started stalking people in other countries who I thought were the best saddle stitchers in the world. And I started approaching them, asking, hey, will you teach me? And finally one agreed. And I mean, I was crazy. Like, one of them had an apprenticeship open, and I knew it had already been closed. And I thought, I don't even care. Like, and I know I can't, it was a year-long apprenticeship. I'm like, I can't leave my family for a year.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I just need to get this guy's attention. So I put together a portfolio, and I constructed an email, and I titled it Worth the Look. And I literally was like, I just got to get his attention. And he responded and said, oh my gosh, I'm sorry the position's full, which I already knew it was. And he said, but I would love to meet sometime. Your work is incredible. And so then it ended up being, months and months later that I went and studied with him in England. And that's where the logo was born.
You went to England?
I went to England. Yeah. Yeah. So I traveled there. You're like,
this is crazy. You're like all in. You're completely all in.
No, that's what, it doesn't, I don't do things halfway.
But when you think about it, and when you see, like, for y'all that don't know, we met in the green. We'll get through, we'll get to how we met. Yeah. But like, when I see you and I see your social and I see everything you're doing, like, it looks really cool. It's like, but you don't nobody has a clue what happened behind the scenes.
No.
You know what I mean? And so to sit here and hear that, and to hear, like, for me, the level of just buy-in, like, you're completely the level of commitment.
Yeah.
You're completely committed to the craft and getting better. And there's no shame in, like, I need to go figure out where I need to go. I need to go talk to this person. I need to text this person. I need to, like, that's how you get things done. And that's just from my perspective, sitting and looking, I'm like, well, no wonder we're sitting here with $10,000 bags. Like, of course, you went and did all the groundwork.
Yeah. No, people don't realize this is like, because some people might say, make a comment about the price, because some of them are even priced higher than that. And I'm like, okay, you go spend the next 16 years of your life and attempt to do what I just did. Like, they do not know. They do not know. They do not know what I have had to sacrifice, what I've had to, do, like all the things that I was willing to try and do that no one even realizes in the middle of the night most of the time too. Like I emailed that guy at 2 a.m. Everything was happening at like 2 a.m. because I was raising kids too. You have to realize I had 4 kids ages 5 and under at that time. And so it was like, it did not make sense. Like my husband even had to be like, wait, what's going on?
I can't comprehend how you're getting these signals and you're like, man, I gotta like, that's the signal. I gotta go. I gotta follow the signal to be blessed. For me, like, man, somebody tap on my shoulder. Give me my signal. But like, and that's, you have to be in the right frame, the right frame to accept that.
Yeah.
And with all the stuff you've got going on, I'm fascinated. Like it's fascinating to me to hear coming here, get in contact with all these people, not knowing, and not knowing what you were gonna do, months of lull, and to still follow it through is incredible.
Well, it's the whole. That's one thing that's kind of interesting about this is it's like, okay, this is Sydnie Banks. It's a brand, but I'm like, no, this is like my life story.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this isn't about bags. Like this is literally me putting myself out there and putting like my work and like my soul and my story out there. Like that is what this is. It's not just a product. And, even like down to when I was in England, I thought that I wanted, so my married name is Peebles, and there's a town of Peebles in Scotland where they have like this family coat of arms. And so I was set on like, that's what my logo should be. Yeah. I need to go to the town of Peebles. I need to study the coat of arms. Like this is what's it's going to be. So I was trying to get to the town of Peebles, Scotland, and there was a crazy snowstorm. And so there were road closure after road closures. And I was just like, man, why is this not working? Like I was just frustrated. But on one of the back roads, there was a white barn owl that flew off of a stone fence post, and it turned and looked me directly in the eye and then flew away. And in that moment, I thought, maybe it's not supposed to be Peebles. Maybe I'm supposed to use the barn owl in the logo and use my son's name, Banks.
Oh,
and
is it this owl?
Yeah, that's the owl on the back.
This owl right here?
Yeah. So that's how and so it's my son's name, Banks. Sydnie Banks is the brand, and the barn owl is because of him.
What's your last name now?
It's Peebles. So that's my married last name is Peebles.
What is your maiden name?
Harrison.
Oh,
so Banks is
so that's Banks is not your last name.
It's my son's name. Yeah, the one where we had the special.
It just feels so nice. Sydnie Banks feels nice.
Yeah, no, I think it's what needed to happen, but that's like. I mean, then to decide to actually do it, that means I have to be vulnerable in sharing the story every single time someone asks, well, Sydnie Banks, what does that mean? Or what is it? And so, but all of this to say, like, nothing really came easily. And there were always setbacks along the way. Like, even once I got home from England and started making bags, I mean, I didn't have people lined up to buy them, like and my husband's thinking, how much money are you spending on buying all these leathers and doing all of this? But I just felt it inside. Like if I do it right, and if I do this the way that I think it needs to happen, and if I keep getting better, it was never about like selling a certain number of bags. It's about being the best, like becoming the best, like with a skill set. That is what my whole intention, like I told him and people before, like I want to be the best in the world, like, which they would look at me and be like, what are you even talking about? Like, but that is where my mind is. And so even if people tell me no along the way, I feel like, no, my worth is like, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And they can tell me no, they can think I'm crazy, but I don't really care.
Have you ever played sports?
Yeah.
Girl, what sports did you play?
I played soccer. I ran track. I mean, my dad played sports too. Like he was an athlete. Like he's.
I asked that because it's such a similar mentality.
Yeah.
It's such a similar mentality.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, and for me being in sports, obviously all the athletes, you're dealing with like the mental stuff that goes behind it. You're dealing with injuries. You're dealing with that stuff. But for you, it's like I'm not dealing with injuries. I'm dealing with like real life, the loss of loved ones, having to move and having to decide, do we go here to DC or do we stay down here?
Yes.
And there's a lot of trials that had to be overcome to now sit here with this beautiful bag. Something I want to get into what these are. For one, I want to ask, if you don't mind sharing, what is the most expensive bag you've sold?
The most expensive was a $30,000 bag.
Wow.
That one's listed at $50,000. That bag.
This bag?
Don't drop it. I'm serious. Do not drop it. If you do, I will probably cry.
I'll cry for you. Okay, let me just put this down here. You hold it. Okay. You hold it and you show it to us.
I don't know which way I'm supposed to. Okay,
talk to us about this bag. We're over here. Talk to us about this bag.
So this bag took me
$50,000.
Yeah, it took me about 6 months to make. I don't know if you can see it very much, and it's honestly, I think the backside and this angle is prettier than just the front. But I had to find and source all of these watches. They're 12 vintage guilloche watches. All the owl head in the front was hand sculpted by my dad. So he hand sculpted that owl head. It has garnet eyes. It's cast into 18 karat gold, and those watch hands are custom too. So what am I saying about it? I literally went and bought the gold coins. I went and bought gold coins for this to go be melted down.
No way.
Yes. And that's what I do. Like if I have sterling silver, I'll go buy sterling silverware and have it be melted down and cast into this. Like basically I do everything the longest, hardest way possible for anything. But this also has, it's moss sit stones with 18 karat gold custom feet enclosures. And then it opens, I don't know if you can see, like that on the back.
Oh.
And all of it's saddle stitched. But yet, like I said, it was like 6 months of planning, preparation, trying to figure out how it's going to come together. I was really concerned because the weight, I didn't know how to design it to where it didn't fall forward. Because you have to think about how much weight is on the front of this bag. And so that's why I designed it to where it leans back and it sits back. I also designed it to where it's back so they're prprotected.
Yeah.
And so anyway, it took a long time, but I'm like, it was hard.
How many bags do you create? Do you create a year?
It depends, because some years I'm making bigger bags that take a lot longer. Some are smaller. For Fashion Week, I think I had like 20 bags in that collection.
Really?
Which I was, up all night working, trying to make that work and happen. And then, but I don't make 20 bags a year right now. Like I try to, because I'm a mom, I have family, I have life, I'm a soccer coach, all these things. So it's like, I've got to balance it all out. So I probably make like 8 to 10 a year right now. And I tell people no all the time, I only take projects I want to take on. So a lot of them are custom for clients, or like this one I designed for the FGI Rising Star Award. I was nominated as a finalist for it. And so the base of it's a star. And I wanted there to be a star. Yeah. Hang on. So like that. I wanted there to be a star in the bag somehow, but I didn't want it to be obvious. And so then I designed it in the base, and then that's the way that happened.
Wow.
Yeah. And that, we'll see if that sits up. It might fall forward. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. How do we open it? Right here?
So you pull that forward, this part forward.
Listen.
And then that comes open.
With these expenses, I don't
know what I'm doing.
I don't want to try anything here.
But I want to know more about you.
This is incredible. Like feels so well made too.
They are. I use all natural. Well, I literally use beeswax from my father-in-law's beehive to hand wax every single thread. Like every single part is so intentional. Everything is they take so much time, and all the edges are hand sanded. They take days and days to finish. Like these edges just take days and days to finish. And so the quality, it's, like I said, it's the slowest way that something can be made. I cut with knives. I don't use clickers. I really don't use machines other than heating tools to make them. And that's very, very rare.
Have you thought about the business side of this? Obviously they say when you become in your situation, you become the best at making leather
I'm
goods.
not the best yet. I got to keep going.
Okay, so you
Keep going.
become one of the best. Do you then just keep creating one of ones? Have you ever thought about growing and having possibly, I don't know, a manufacturer, other people? Have you thought about that from the business side?
From the business standpoint, people all the time are like, "Why are you not doing
Well,
that?
that's
Why are you not doing that?"
but you love doing
And
it.
I like to make them.
Yeah, you love
I
doing it.
love doing it. It's art to me.
Yeah.
They're one of one. So it's more like an art thing than it is like,
Yeah.
oh, I just want to make a
Business, yeah.
million of these and make all this money off of it. It's just not where my mind is. And I've already had people, try to say like, we want to use this name and grow this and whatever. And
You're like,
I'm
no.
like,
No.
not, I mean,
No
maybe one
chance?
day,
Maybe one day.
well, I mean, when you said that I haven't had injuries, I actually, so after Fashion Week, about a week or about a
was
month
Fashion Week?
after 2023,
Okay.
about a month after my hand stopped working and I was having like extreme jaw pain and I couldn't figure out what was going on. I was in such extreme pain and I have always experienced pain throughout my life, but I just didn't ever like really look into it. And literally like almost 6 months of not being able to use my hands. I had to hire someone to come help. I couldn't hold a fork. I couldn't open a door. I couldn't tie my kids' shoes. Like I couldn't do anything. And then I was having insane neck pain where I couldn't move my head. Like it felt like my head was going to fall off my body. Like it was almost at its breaking point and it was about to snap off and the pain was just like unbearable. Like I would just sob and sob. And it was really hard because I was like, wait, I just went to Fashion Week. I've had these things start happening and now I can't even make a bag. I can't even move. I can't even take care of my kids. And then I ended up getting diagnosed with a genetic disorder called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. And they told me that it's only going to get worse and that there's no medication you can take. There's nothing really that you can do. So I was like having to like re-look at my life and what I was doing, and I literally didn't know if I'd be able to make another bag. But over time, I looked into different natural things, like all sorts of different ways to try to help myself. I got stem cell therapy injections in my neck. I've been doing physical therapy, like all sorts of stuff. And I still experience a lot of pain, but I've still been able to make bags and I've still been able, to do it. I just have to be really careful. And that's part of why I'm not doing so many. But that was really, really hard.
What is all this telling you about like this journey that you're on? What is overcoming everything that you've been able to overcome? Like, what does that say about your goal, which is obviously you're trying to reach this goal. You want to become the best that you can be.
Yeah.
And you have all these obstacles that are, in the way, just as life.
Yeah.
But how do you see yourself? Like, how are you, when you look back, how are you seeing yourself overcoming this? What is it? Is it like, man, this is something that I have to do? Is it something that I know I'm destined for and I'm going to find a way to get there regardless? I mean, what are you thinking going through all these life-changing, life-altering experiences?
Like you said, I think all of us are going through things. Like everyone is going through something. Mm-hmm. But everyone also has, like, I believe everyone is here for a reason, and everyone, like, I believe God didn't mess up on us. Like, we are the way we are for a reason. Like, we can do what needs to be done, and we can create and be something, and because we're children of God. Like, I literally believe that we can create and become something beautiful, and that it's part of the plan. And so, as crazy as all these different challenges and things have been, and as awful and as low that I've felt at different times, I also feel like once I started kind of step out of it a little bit, it's almost used as like fuel of like, wait, no, like I can do something. Even though I've been through this, like I can use it for good. I can create something, or I might have to change my lifestyle a little bit, or might have to do things differently, or be careful with my hands, or whatever it is. But I think I can still do it, and I think I can be creative, and think I can use it for good. And rather than just like letting it take you down and keep you there.
Being a business owner, right? You're taking a lot of risk.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of uncertainty.
Mm-hmm.
With you creating these bags, what is that feeling like of uncertainty? Because you don't always create a bag and know where it's going to go. So you create a bag and like, well, I hope somebody buys this $30,000 bag.
Yeah.
What is that? What is living in that uncertainty like?
I think my husband's more stressed about the uncertainty than I am. Because he'll hear me say like, oh, he'll watch me work so hard on something. And then at the end, I'm like, I have no idea if someone's going to buy this or not.
Yeah.
I was like, but I like it. And it's okay because then I can show it if I need to at show events, or it can be displayed or whatever. It's something to, like, when I go, it's nice to have actual bags to show people rather than if they're all gone, you don't have, no one knows what your work really is. And so for me, I don't stress about it as much as he does, because for me, it was about the creation. Like, that's what, it's not about selling it in the end. Like, that's where my mind is probably messed up.
Just a little
like
bit.
A little bit.
A little bit messed up.
But that's happened because I care about it, because I'm passionate, and people feel that it's happened where people are like, I want to buy this. I want this.
And so that's what I was going to say is like, part of it is people, the buyer or whoever else, like recognizing the art, the craft, the dedication, the exigence, everything that it takes to build a $30,000 bag, right? And so I think that's almost where just as much of the buy-in comes from, is like, I mean, I don't know what it's worth, but I know that she just spent 6 months and that's melted down gold, and that, you know what I mean? Like, you can start to see all of the work that you put in and be like, you know, that, well, it's worth it. You know what I mean? And so obviously there's uncertainty, but you being the business owner, I think you have to kind of bet on yourself. Yeah. And that's kind of what you're doing. So that's awesome. You said you had a question for me. What was your question for me?
Well, I want to hear, I mean, well, we didn't even talk about how we met. And
let's talk about that. Tell them how we did.
Where are we on time, though?
We're good. Don't worry about it. We're good. We're good on the time.
Okay. Yeah, but you tell them how we met, and then I wanted to tell your story.
So this is how we met. So I'm walking in Sprouts. I just left the workout. I actually probably just left here. Went to workout. Went to Sprouts after. I'm walking around. I see a guy he's kind of fitted. He got like these white kind of pants on. He's got a nice little hoodie on. And I look at him and I'll keep walking. We're in Oklahoma. You don't see a lot of people that are just like dressed nice or just dressed with high fashion or whatever. Yeah. So I look. I'm walking, I look again. I'm walking, I look again. I'm like, because I know the brand. It's Mad Happy. Shout out to the guys at Mad Happy. I love that brand. So I see the Mad Happy, and he walks up, and I kind of turn and walk away. He says, "You like my hoodie, don't you?"
He told me, he said, "You want my hoodie, don't you?"
He said, "You want my hoodie, don't you?" And I look back, and I'm like, that is a nice hoodie. And I was like, and he was like, yeah, this is, he started talking about the brand, and I shook his hand, and he just got to just road run talking. He was just talking a million miles an hour. It's like, do you know this lady? Do you know this person? Do you know Sydnie? I'm like, who is Sydnie?
You're like, what are you talking about?
Sydnie, you never met. He pulls out his phone. You never met Sydnie? Let me call Sydnie. Hello, Sydnie? Sydnie's on speakerphone. Hello, Sydnie? I'm like, oh God. And mind you, I just met this guy at Sprouts. Like, why are you calling somebody on speakerphone right now?
Yeah, that's what he does.
Like, why are you calling somebody? I don't even know your name. And you're calling somebody to ask me. But it was cool, obviously. He ends up, he's like a home builder here.
Yeah, contractor
here in Oklahoma. Yeah. I guess he knows you and knows a lot of other people. How did you meet him?
So he helped us with a remodel that we were doing, and it was like a big project. And he and I didn't hire a designer on it, and so I was the one designing and making all the decisions. So I was meeting with him every day. And at first he was like this really hard, calloused person, and I thought, like, who's this guy? And like, I feel like there's more to his story than what I'm getting here. And finally one day, like, I asked him, like, well, how are you? Or, like I said, do you like what you do? And then he just like opened up, and like in that moment, I feel like we broke down walls and like became friends. And I was like, okay, like he like trusts me enough to talk about real life stuff, whatever. And so we've just been friends since then. He's helped with different projects. He actually, so I was telling you earlier, he does what he did to you. He will call the second you're like in a conversation or talking, he's calling the person that you need to know or you need to find out about and getting the answer for you right then. Like that is how he is immediately. And that's why I loved him as a contractor, because it was like, it was never, oh, in 2 weeks we'll find out. No, he's like, as you're talking, he's literally, it's happening as you're talking.
Yeah, his mind, that's how his mind works.
That's how his mind works. Yeah. And so, but in some ways my mind is kind of like that too. Yeah. And so it's like in certain scenarios, it just works. And so with this bag, I had been working for 3 years trying to get a solid gold owl head done. And most jewelers were terrified of this process.
To do what now?
To have so I wanted to create my own hardware. So that's one thing that's hard in this industry is hardware is just really cheap, most of it. And so I had been using a lot of like gold plated hardware. Like it would be like 24 gold, but plated. Right. And so I was wanting 18 karat solid gold just to like elevate it. But I wanted things done the right way, but most jewelers were terrified to work with me because I wanted to use the lost wax casting process, and they were going to have to do all of these things to make it happen. But I was telling him like, man, I need this bag done. I've been working on the design. I just still don't have the owl head, and I'm leaving to New York in like less than a week. And he, in 2 minutes, gave me 2 names, and one of the names got it done and has helped me since then. But he's the reason that bag happened. And so his name's Corbin, and that bag is named the Raven, which Raven means Corbin. So I literally named the bag after him because I'm like, he made this bag happen. He deserved it. So it was the first one with the solid 18 karat gold.
I told you, he called me 2 days ago. Yeah. He called me and was like, I just got off the phone with Jay. Can you meet on Thursday? Yeah. I'm like, what do you mean, can I meet? For one, this is the second time I've ever talked to him.
Crazy.
The first time was at Sprouts. The second time was 3 days ago. He called me and he was like, hey, what are you going on? And he talks he didn't say, can you meet on Thursday? He talks for 20 minutes straight. Yeah. And then at the end, he's like, I promise I've got a point to this. And I'm like, okay, can we get there? Yeah. Can we get to that point? But he's so well connected, you know? And I think in business, when you own your own business, I own my own business. He owns his own. Yeah. When you own your own business, that's how it works. Yeah. You know, you've got to build connections, build relationships, and then one person helps the other person, and he just keeps growing.
Well, he told me about you. He told me about your brand, what he knew about it. He told me about, you were wearing it and he wanted one. And then he was telling me about, oh, he played overseas and he was in the Olympics. And, he was like telling me all this stuff. And I think you were there because it was on speaker.
He does all the he gives like the footnotes. He gives all the hardest hitting points.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's like, what do you think?
What do you think? I'm like, oh, cool. No, I don't know him, but cool. But we started following each other on Instagram, and so I saw more of what you were doing. I saw you spoke at Citizen House, and I had been to something there where someone, like another business owner, had spoken. And anyway, so it's just like, then all of a sudden we're here.
I was like, I've actually got a podcast with Sydnie on Tuesday, actually. He's like, oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's so funny. But no, it was, but as I looked at your story too, because I just looked, what I could see online, it's the same thing you said to me. You can only see so much online. There's so much that happened that I'm sure people don't know by the instant.
Yeah. No, I for me, it's been crazy. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if we're going to get all into my story, but and my listeners have heard a lot about my story, but it's that's why I like to sit down with business owners. And for me, it's all the same. And I'd love to say this, like the same traits that help professionals in sports succeed are the same traits that help the professionals in business succeed for you. You're like trials and tribulations, being able to stay consistent, being able to keep the noise out and follow your path and follow what you want to do and stay locked into the grind and create, like to create one thing for 6 months is crazy.
Yeah, it kind of is.
You know what I mean? Like it's a lot of people can't, people can't stick to something for a week. So that discipline, I love it. I love being around it. And that's why I had you on here, is because I think that whether you're an athlete or a business owner, those traits are all the same. And hearing those stories, hearing your story is so inspiring. Like so the first thing, I used to create things with my hand. Yeah. So the first business that I had, I used to create, do you know what a lapel pin is?
Yeah.
So I hand make lapel pins.
You do? Do you still do this?
I
need to see a picture.
You want to see a picture?
I need to see.
What? I got it. I got you right here. So I'm gonna pull it up.
Yeah.
And then we'll tag it in the thing. I got a whole. So when I was in college, at Oral Roberts, I was making and selling these. So long story short, I had the opportunity to go to the ESPYs when I was in college.
Yeah.
And this was right when people were like, the fashion was really kicking in. People were wearing these lapel pins.
Yeah.
And I got my suit and I'm like, man, I want one of those cool little roses to go.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, all right, where do I get a rose? And back then you couldn't just order anything like that. And so I'm looking. And I had to go in a couple weeks and it couldn't get there in time.
Yeah.
And I couldn't find any that I liked. I went to a couple stores here in Oakland, in Edmond, and they weren't good quality. And I was like, all right. So I called my friend who's really, he dresses well.
Yeah.
I said, yo, PJ, where can I get a lapel pin from? He's like, man, I don't know. He's like, just make one. And I'm like, I'm not going to make, what do you mean? All right, man, thanks. Click. I hung up. I'm sitting around. I'm like, where am I going to get a lapel pin from? Go to YouTube, lapel pin. And I'm watching people make them.
Yeah.
Watching people make them. I'm like, oh, this is not that hard.
Like, I could do it. I could
do it myself. And so.
Oh my gosh, look at those.
I was like, I could do it myself.
Wait, you made all of these?
Every single one of them.
Okay, I'm going to go through all of them.
Yeah, every single one of them. So I sat there.
They're so cute.
And I took like 4 videos that I really liked. And I took something from each one.
Yeah.
And then I made my own. And I was like, that's not bad.
Like, I like that. This is nice.
Yeah, I'm like, that's not bad.
Look at those.
And so I would sit there for like 8 hours a day. And I would just
work on those.
Just creating them with my
You made
hand.
a lot. I can't believe. I thought you were going to talk about like one.
No,
yeah,
I made
this
a lot.
This is a lot.
That was my bid. Like I was selling. I was at Oral Roberts, and anybody who wanted a lapel pin, like
look at those boys.
Yeah, I was really moving lapel pins.
No, you're doing.
It is the first thing. It's funny because I went back to Oral Roberts, and I go back frequently.
Yeah.
I went back a couple years ago. Maybe it was last year.
Yeah.
And my athletic advisor, he was like, "Oh, what business are you in now?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, you were always making something when you were in college.
Yeah.
And I didn't I was, now that I think about it. He's like, you were always making and selling something. I didn't think about it, but that's how they saw me back then.
Yeah.
And now to have my own business and be making and selling, and I'm like, oh, okay, it makes sense.
That's what you're saying when you're not artistic, just based on what I have viewed or seen. You're building organizations for kids, to learn. You're creating a brand. You're doing podcasts. That's all creative work.
Yeah, sure. Sure.
You're more of an artist than you think.
It's a different.
And you have lapel pins.
Look.
I need one of those.
Listen. If you want to put it on,
we'll stick one on.
No, but that's how it started, and that to me. That's as artistic as I get with my hands. Yeah. But no, it was just, learning to commit to that and seeing you make these, I'm like, dude, and building a program, like you got to sit down and you've got to build. Yeah. I build on the computer, but for you to sit here and build with your hands, I know that takes a lot of work, a lot of dedication, a lot of uncertainty, and it's not as pretty as these bags. Everybody thinks that it look like they see the final product and they're like, this is beautiful. Yeah.
But they don't realize. Or even like styling the shoots for the bags to be in, hiring the photographers, getting the models, building the website, keeping the social media going, making sure you're in the right articles, or if you're okay with them or not. Like there's so many things to it all that I'm like, people have no clue how much work all of this takes. They just don't know.
That's and like I said, that's being a business owner. So these bags are beautiful. One question before we get out of here, though. Actually, I got a couple. What is your favorite bag what is the most meaningful bag to you that you've created? Do you have a favorite that you're like, man, I just really love that bag?
There's one that...
And well, I'll ask the second one next. Go ahead.
Okay, so there's one that I made, and it was called 7 Wonders, or the 7th Wonder, and it was kind of like a pyramid shape. It was kind of like this, but a pyramid shape, and it was a purple, deep purple, and I really loved it. It was one of the bags that was going to be on the runway for Fashion Week, and I was going to be in 2 different shows. Well, after my first show, I had someone who was interested in the bag, and they're like, hey, meet me at this rooftop bar, like we bring the bag, let's talk about it and whatever. So it was like this private event. And so I called my husband because all the bags had been transferred back to our Airbnb. And I was like, hey, can you bring the purple bag, the pyramid bag? And he's like, yeah, I'll bring it. So he comes and he sits next to me and stands up and leaves. And I was like, oh my gosh. I sent him a text. I said, you left the bag in the Uber, didn't you? And that's what had happened. He left it in the Uber. We couldn't get a hold of him. And it was supposed to be on the runway the next day. And I was like, oh my gosh, like this is so bad. So we were just distraught. Like I had the guy met with me and I was like, I'm sorry, like it's in an Uber. We don't know if we're getting it back. We're trying to get a hold of the driver. Like at this point, it had been hours. Finally, it was like 2 a.m. and I was just sitting there like, what happened? He felt so bad.
Is this your husband?
Yes.
Oh my
and then
gosh.
I remembered so I had an after party after our runway, and my assistant had put air tags in some of the bags. And I said, oh my gosh,
Assistant of the year. Assistant of the year.
There's an air tag.
Assistant of the freaking year.
Yes. So we went and found it. It was in Jamaica, Queens, which is like very, very dangerous.
New York?
Very dangerous.
Yeah, I've been there. I've been to Jamaica, Queens.
We drove there in the middle of the night and we saw it inside the car. It was still in there.
No
the Uber
way.
driver had gone to bed though. So we had to sit there. I mean, the things that I saw in the middle of the night on that street, I'm like scarred for life. Like it was an awful situation. But my husband sat on the curb. I stayed till 5 a.m. And then, but I was like, I have to get back and get ready for the next show and get everything together. Like, I've got to get all this stuff. I've got to go. So I hadn't even slept. And he was just waiting for this guy to wake up. Like, because he's like, once he comes out and wakes up, then he can open the car or whatever, because the cops can't break in.
Yeah. So, and it's Jamaica, Queens. Like, it's in front of his house. It's like.
Yeah, no, it's just like random. Yeah, they have no idea. So he finally got the bag. It was like an hour or two before the runway show that was at like 3 or 4 p.m. the next day. So he sat on that curb all night. I'm like, these are the things people don't realize what you do to, make sure things happen. And so I renamed it to the 8th wonder of the world because we can't believe that we got it back. And then now it's actually with, I traded it for a painting with another artist. And so she's one of my friends and I have one of her paintings now and she has that bag. And so it went to someone that I cared about and it was all good. Yeah.
That's an incredible story. How do you even get to a New York Fashion Week or the art bat? How do you even get there?
So for Fashion Week, I had started making, so I founded the brand in 2022, summer of 2022.
Wow, you're new.
And
it's
then,
fairly new.
Yeah, the bag part of it. Because the boots started in 2012.
Sure.
So it was later. But I founded in summer of 2022. And then by 2023, January, I applied and got into New York Fashion Week.
Really?
And once I got into one, I realized like, wait, this can actually happen. But the whole thing was a crazy thing. So basically I went over to my father-in-law's house for a Sunday dinner. He pulled out the paper and he's like, I read an article that I thought you might like. It's about a girl in Oklahoma who went to Fashion Week. And he's like, you can read it. So I took it home and I read it and I was like, if this girl can do this, so can I. Absolutely. And so I looked into the platform that she presented on and I found it online and I saw that you could apply and I applied and it was like 2 a.m. that I applied, everything is. And I was like, I couldn't.
So is the owl because you're a night owl or is it because?
No, I don't even know. I'm trying not to stay up that late anymore, but I completely forgot that I had applied because I was going for a lot of other things at the time that I thought were possible or, there were other things that I had more weight on that I was focusing on. And, I heard back within a couple of days and they're like, you're accepted. And I about died. Like I called my husband. He didn't even know I had applied. He was on a fishing trip in Chile and I called him. I was like, I just got into New York Fashion Week. He's like, what are you even talking about? How did that happen? I was like, well, your dad. He's like, what are you saying?
Golly.
But then it was like I had to work so hard, to get all the bags done. I had to make a collection and have it ready for that fall. And my daughters were watching me make these bags and they were like, Mom, could we be involved? Could we make a design, or could we do? And I said, well, if you guys do enough drawings, if there's any that end up being, good enough, maybe we could pick one and I would make one of your designs. And I thought they would forget about it. They drew hundreds
No
of
way.
drawings.
No
Literally,
way.
they'd slap their crayon paper up on the
Like,
wall
Mom,
and be
does
like,
this one
Mom,
work?"
is this one good enough? I'd be like, not yet. It went on for months, and I was like, oh my gosh, they're really
Oh,
serious.
they're trying to
So
get in.
I ended up making one of each of their designs, and then they walked the runway
I
with
wonder
their
where
bags
they
at
got. I
Fashion
wonder
Week.
where they get it from.
They just-
I wonder where they get it from.
Well, I'm trying to teach them, like, if you want something,
Yeah,
if
you
you
gotta
work
go
hard
get it.
enough,
Well, you
you
taught 'em.
can do it.
You
You
taught
can
'em.
do it. So they were able to do that. And
Point proven.
yeah, they were terrified though. They were so scared. I was scared. I didn't want, because they have the designer walk out at the end, and like, I don't like the spotlight on me. Like, I don't want to be in front of the camera. I don't want pictures
You walked
taken
out.
of
You
me.
did your whole Mike and Miri at the end. You
Oh
walked
my
out.
gosh, I was about ready to die, but they were scared too. So I'm like, okay, we'll just stay in the back and we'll just hold hands and we'll just go fast.
So how does that work? They have models, brands bring their stuff, and the models run their walk their stuff.
So they have casting calls, and I went through all the different models and selected the ones that I wanted.
you?
And then I also decided that I'm like, this is a cool opportunity for me. Why don't I make it a cool opportunity for a lot of people? So I was calling like friends, people who had never modeled before. I'm like, do you want to walk for Fashion Week? Like, so I had people come that are from all over the country that were my friends or whatever, and walked. I had women who were over 40, and I just thought, like,
Cool.
why not create an opportunity for more, like,
yeah, absolutely.
the more the merrier,
Absolutely.
I don't really think of, like, it's like you can lift people around. You don't have to push someone down to, be lifted. You can lift people around you. Everyone, there's room for everyone.
That's incredible.
So it was fun, but it was also hard though, because it's a platform where I couldn't make all the decisions. Like, I was able to choose, I showed on 2 different platforms. One of them, they chose the music, they selected the models. It was like really not very personal. The other one was more personal, but I couldn't control the other designers that were there because there were other designers showing their work. And so it was really hard. So the next year, I finally decided, I was like, you know what? I'm hosting my own show. I want all control over everything. And so it was called Homeward Bound, and I hosted my own private runway show here in Oklahoma. And it was the same thing. I'm like, I'm going to give people opportunity here. And I became friends with the harpist and all the people involved, the lady who did the flowers, like everything. And I did it here, and I was so happy with it.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
What's next?
I don't know. I mean, I have all sorts of ideas and things, all sorts of things that I want to do, but it's always like navigating what's the most important. Before it was hardware. I wanted to make my own hardware. Now that's happened. This year I'm teaching some classes, which I have 4 students coming in April, so that I want to help other people learn. I'm like, one thing that for me was that people were willing to teach me. That was huge. There weren't very many people that are willing to teach this craft. Right. They just want to go. And so I'm like, I'll do it every once in a while. I can't do it all the time though, because it's so much time and energy to do it. It's a lot of work. But we'll see. I have like all sorts of things.
How many bags? So you carry your own bags?
No.
You don't?
Only if I, like, to an event, if I need to.
But you don't,
I don't carry a bag, or I carry one of those like crossbody Lululemon bags, or like don't carry anything at all. I hold everything. Yeah, I'm not a luxurious person. Like, I mean, that was another thing stepping into this world of, I have to sell to people who care a lot about quality and brands and things. But me, I'm like, I still love, thrifting. I still love doing all that stuff. I can afford other things, but I still like that side of it. And so I had to find a way, even like on social media and all these other things, of how do I still be myself? I don't want to change who I am. And so this is literally like thrifted. Like I love it. Yeah, that's how I roll.
I love a good thrift.
Yeah,
so for me, creating clothes,
yeah,
I simply got into creating clothes because I wanted, like, selfish as it could be. Mm-hmm. So, true story. Yeah. When I started going bald,
you're like, wait, let me show you.
When I started going bald, I was like, man, I was self-conscious. Yeah. Like, man, I got to cover my bald head.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now I love my bean.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it was like, all right, I got to find some hats now.
Yeah.
And I would get hats and I didn't love them. And the hats that I did love, like for instance, I got a couple Mad Happy hats. They're like $125, $30.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I'm not going to be spending $100+ on a hat.
Mm-hmm.
So I did the same thing with the lapels. It's like, I'm just make my own hat.
Yeah. And you did it.
And I was like, that's when I just started the brand Wonbyone. And I saw Chance the Rapper.
Yeah.
And he had that huge 3 on his hat. And I thought that was really cool. I'm like, what if I just put a big 1 on the hat?
Yeah, why don't I do that? Yeah,
like, let's
it's
just
awesome.
I'm like, let's just put, then my logo is just my name.
Yeah.
And I'm like, let's just put a 1 on the hat. And I made it.
Yeah.
And this was right before I was going to the Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, cool. So we made a shirt, me and Epe Udo, who is like one of my family members, man, from here, Edmond, Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. 2 guys from the same city, both on the Olympic roster, which was like crazy.
Yeah.
So I said, let's just collab on a shirt.
Yeah. I
made a shirt from the brand, sold out like immediately. I made a bunch of these hats and I gave them to all the players. Well, the players supported me. They supported, they purchased, and we all just wore the hats at the Olympics.
Oh, that's awesome.
You know what I mean?
Awesome.
And so...
But what a story, and that's how it was created.
And that's how these hats were made. And so then everybody saw like myself, all my so Nigeria, we went to the Olympics and we had 10 NBA guys.
Yeah.
So all my NBA guys are in the hats and everybody's seeing the hats and they're like, man, what's that one hat?
Yeah. Yeah. What is that thing?
And then everybody started asking about the hat. And I'm like, all right, cool. I started making, I said, Dad, go, because I got a little manufacturer here. And I said, Dad.
Is it here local?
Yeah. So my things are all of these. Well, now I've got like cut and sew stuff.
Yeah.
But all this stuff is made local.
Oh, that's cool.
And so I was like, Dad, take the hats, take 20 hats, take them to the lady. I'll call her. I'll tell her, have her put a rush order on it. Yeah. And then you ship them next day.
Yeah.
He shipped all the hats next day we were in Las Vegas. He shipped all the hats next day. I got this box and all my guys just started handing them out to my guys. And from then on, it was just like everybody was wearing one hats.
That's awesome.
And
that's
so
awesome.
For me, like making gear, everything that I make is I'm kind of, I like nicer clothes and things, you know what I mean? But I don't want to spend. I want a good deal.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I'm like, well, let's just make my own stuff. And so everything that I made it with it had to pass the bar of, will I wear it?
Yeah. Yeah, you wanted to make it to wear. But that's good because you're staying true to you. You're not trying to step into a world that you're not a part of. And
exactly.
I feel like for me too, it was the same thing. I realized like, I'm the maker of the bags, like I don't have to be someone that I'm not. And the more authentic I am to me and the more honest I am about my story and that I'm a mom, the better it all is. Yeah. Like people want authenticity. They want to know who you are. They want to know.
I mean, we're talking about you and the media side and having photographers come. And when you have photographers come, the videos don't do as well as when you've got your iPhone and you're, and it's because people want to see you in your natural habitat. They want to see
hair on top of your head. Yeah, they want to see paint on my hands and fingers. I was like, sometimes I'm like, maybe I should clip my nails. I'm like, these are all up close shots. Like, maybe I should clip my nails.
They like to see that. They want to see the impurities. And so I think that, just as days are going by, as we're getting the 21st century, as we're getting older, like that's what does well is natural stuff. Like you hand making these bags and I'm sure that there maybe, I don't know, as perfect as they are, there probably not any impurities in these.
I see problems in all of it.
But you know what I mean? But like you creating from what you want, what you feel and giving it to the world, and they respect the authenticity of it all. They don't want to see like perfect. I think a lot of, we won't get into that, but a lot of media stuff is like too scripted, too perfect. And then the viewers are not stupid. We can see that like somebody put a camera there.
Yep. Like
somebody, you woke up in the middle of, you
walked over there and put your camera up. Then you got back in bed. Then you woke up. Like that's that's what we know happened.
Yeah. So just like this, the authenticity, man. I love this. Like this to me, hearing your story and not having it from just, usually we have a lot of athletes in here and I want to do a better job of getting creatives in here, business people in here, because that story is fascinating. it's fascinating because there's so many similarities in life. It's not like it's not sport, it's not business, it's life. These are the traits, these are the things that will help you or have helped you get to where you're at. So the success you've had is amazing. I can't even, I'm at a loss of words of these bags, honestly. So, is there anything else that we missed? Is there anything else that we want to?
I mean,
cover?
I have stories all the time, but
know,
I'm not going to keep going.
Well,
I know
we're gonna
you're
have
so
you back
sick of
on
it.
here. No, I didn't even know where to start, but I think that this was a great introduction. I hope that the our viewers enjoyed this episode, and for me, I enjoyed it meeting you for the first time, which is great.
It's so fun. Yeah, I had a great time.
Shout out Corbin. We're gonna get together.
Corbin.
Corbin.
Yeah, we'll call him after this on speaker.
I'm gonna call him.
Call him on speaker right now. I'm
gonna call him right now.
Okay, call him on speaker.
Corbin, we're on air.
Yeah. Put him. He's gonna.
Y'all want to see the energy that Corbin has?
Oh yeah. Do you know what
that picture is?
Do you know what it actually is?
He told me literally 2 days ago.
Let's see.
Yes, sir.
Guess who I'm here with?
You are there with J-Pack?
Nope. Sydnie Banks. The one and only. You are live on air right now, by the way. We are live recording. Like,
if she did that to me, you guys are going to be in real trouble.
It was him. It wasn't me.
I'm looking at 4 cameras, 2 lights. We're sitting here at a table. Like, this is all. You're on air. So is there anything else you want to? We're telling everybody about just Corbin. We're just telling about who you are and how. We're doing to you what you do to us. That's what we said. We said we're getting payback. We said we're gonna call him impromptu and just see what's going on.
Well, we were just gonna see if you answered. That was the real test.
Yes.
We're raving about you, man.
Answer my phone, unlike Sydney, who never answers.
Whatever.
We're raving about you, man. We're raving about the connects. We're raving about everything you've done.
That's good.
Hey.
Well, I've already been to your building, Sydney, and solved all of your problems in 5 minutes.
You did, Kate. What I need to know though is if they can put gravel there. Is that allowed?
Oh, you can do anything you want after the fact.
Okay, that's good to know.
Corbin.
Okay, thank you so much.
Corbin, am I seeing you on Thursday?
We're seeing you on Thursday at J-Pax, yes.
All right. Send me the address and we'll see you then.
Okay, sounds good.
Thanks, Corb. Bye.
That's the way he rolls.
There he is.
There he is.
The man, the myth,
He's already
the
got all
legend.
the stuff done.
The man, the myth, the legend.
Tearing down a garage.
Oh God. Well, Sydnie, this is a beautiful display. I just want to hold it one more time. She said, "Don't drop it." It's a $50,000 bag for y'all. I'm gonna show all the cameras to make sure we all see it. Yep. In all its glory. I'm being very careful so I don't drop it. In all its glory. Can we open the back? Is that the Ferrari with the trunk in the front? How does it work?
It's in the back.
The trunk in the back.
Yeah.
All right, this was amazing.
I'll take it,
Here you go.
and I'll close it.
Yeah, I'll let you do it. She said, I'll close it.
I'll
close it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us. Thank you for coming and sharing your story, sharing everything, sharing these bags. You've got an incredible story, obviously, and I can't wait to see what's next.
Thank you.
If you listen, hey, I'm not a model and I don't work, but listen.
Let's do it.
If you
Let's do it.
If you need any help, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here. All
We're
right.
doing it.
Thank you, guys.
Okay.
We'll see you guys on our next episode.
ya.
Peace.